Yeah, especially if all their players are showing up like they were just previously up against QB Fire. I think it's going to be a very interesting game. Surreal, Smoothie, Robin, Cosme and Shaq, all of them had their own rounds where they really just stepped it up massively. And I think that's something that may favour Epsilon. I'd say they have a bit more firepower than what's available on the Sprout side. I'd say for Sprout, you'll be looking towards the likes of Innocent, NATO Sapphics, and maybe Dennis to get that heavy lifting done. Crystal, he's DIGL, he kind of does what he's required to do, but he's never going to be that player who puts up the big numbers.
Yeah, we're going to have a little bit of a pause just before this one starts because it looks like Epsilon want to get their coach on the server. I think that's Keisha, is that how you pronounce it? Keisha? Keita? I don't know, the former
I think it's
UK
Keita.
player. Yeah, probably like that. I don't really know. I mean, he's pretty irrelevant. I won't need to know his name, right?
Oh, Jesus.
That was a bit harsh. There we go.
Well, you BM in UKCS. If anyone here is BM in UKCS, it should really be me, the Irish person. You should cling on to what little you have right now. We have nothing to cling on to, so we may as well just make fun of the UKCS. So,
I mean, I shouldn't really be calling anyone out. I'm pretty trash at this game. So, hey, I mean, and I mean, Ireland's got Windansky. I remember when he was around. Anyone else?
Connor. Cinder, technically.
Yeah.
He's technically Latvian, but I think he's also an Irish citizen, as he has played on the Irish team in TWC and stuff. But yeah, we'll focus on the game now. We are finally going to be getting live. Apologies for all the delays, guys, but we are going to now have a great game coming up. Over on that D side, it is going to be Robin, rather, that picks up that utility. On the CD side, Speedy gets a CZ, and Crystal goes for a smoke and a defuse kit. And it looks like we will be seeing some form of an execute coming in. Nice little smoke by Robin, and I believe that's actually the smoke off the doors. Allowed him to try and get up through connector, up towards the site and just cut off connector, and there you go. It is going to be landing. That's a very nice smoke by Robin. As now the T is just charged straight up this ramp, trying to get up close with these Glocks, trying to close the distance. Because right now, with that damage early on will be going slightly in favour of the T side. And Neo Sapphics, he steps it up. Spitty with the CZ going to be able to take down one, and it's only Surreal so far for Epsilon to really get anything done. As Smoothie is going to be left all alone in a 1-on-4, P250, but he's only going to find one before he falls. And Sprout started off well by picking up that pistol.
Yeah, that was something a little bit different from Epsilon. We saw them play Cobblestone earlier today. I don't think they went for that sort of a play on the pistol round in the previous matchup. However, this time around, they go for the smoke over the top. It was pretty well lined up. However, Sprout managed to get into good enough positions to find the kills. Even though they weren't necessarily fully on towards the site, coming in towards Heaven was good enough. And, well, they did have to land the shots really to cut things off, but they managed to do so. Now Epsilon just going to have pistols to play with. Yet again, they're going to lean towards the A bomb site. This time around, they only have the one smoke for Surreal, so that could go in towards door to try and allow the push to come forwards. There are still two players already towards A, although NATO Sapphics is stuck with a scout, so he could get overwhelmed if he isn't careful. And there we go. Dennis spots a couple of players out, so Sprout should be aware it's likely to be an A push. And Dennis already doing the damage. NATO's nade also chiming in. Dennis might get a chance for more, and he does get a second kill. Not going to get the third, but there it is. Finally finishes things off. And a fairly easy second round as well.
Yeah, not really any trouble into that one for a Sprout. So I've been able to close that one down. And it's just going to be Epsilon now looking to go for a full eco. They do average just about $2,000 onto their players, so it doesn't really seem like they'll be able to upgrade at all. Likely just 5 Glocks, as I'd like to see them maybe just group up, try and get 1 or 2 kills out of this round at best, and if lucky, a bomb plant, but I don't think the chances of that are very high currently, as for now at least they are going to just favour over towards the A bomb site, and there's only one player in position to try and hold this one down. That's just going to be Dennis, and if he gets overwhelmed, perhaps something could be done for Epsilon. If they can pick up that FAMAS, if Chad can get some work done here on the flank, actually, as the 3-round burst works out. He takes down Crystal and gets an MP9, but still one more player up close. Doesn't matter though, Innocent. He's going to get taken down. Chak stepping it up, and damage has now been found. An MP9 and a FAMAS are retrieved, and Chak building up some economy with that SMG, as now Spitty with the CZ continuing on with that from the previous round, getting a kill once again. MP9 is also available, and NATO Sapphics with the scout getting work done. Gets himself a quick double, and Robin's now going to be the last man standing. Left to try and clutch this one out, and he's been tagged up by NATO Sapphics, who has just been playing massive so far in this round. As Robin brings it down to a 1-on-1, but with 2 points of HP, Dennis should be able to take this one unless some amazing shots are hit by Robin. And as he spots out the head, a bit awkward maybe. The head angle perfectly there, Robin was, but it's not going to be enough. Dennis, he ends up clutching that one out for a Sprout, but a lot closer than we would have expected when he's only had 5 Glocks in the beginning of that round.
Yeah, NATO Safix really bailed Sprout out of that round. Those 2 headshots were not easy to hit with the scout, but he managed to do so, and then even got a tag onto the last player to make things a little more simple for Dennis. Although he still had to find a headshot because Robin realized he had to play a headshot angle. Either way, NATO jumping out through A long is going to get that first kill. And it's always fun to watch it when an AWPer is confident. It's always fun to watch. And there you go. The Dane gets the first kill of the round. And ooh, Smooya going to get a spray through the smoke to get the eventual trade. And nade over the top does a little bit of damage as Smooya falls back. But there we go. Back to a 4 versus 4. Smooya couldn't quite get the AWP in this round, but he's still getting some work done with that AK.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one now for the CTs. Actually, it's going to be a split towards the B bomb site. Smooya, great position, gets 1. I don't think he's aware there's a player up on the tree, so Spiddy maybe could take 1 or 2 kills out of this. That would be the ideal situation. But now he has been spotted. He is going to be forced back down, and it's up to whether he can actually get this kill on the player in the drop room, and if his teammates are able to actually hold down this bomb site itself, and it's not looking likely. Jack takes 1. Spiddy falls to the hands of Cosmin, and NATO Safix now is the last man standing. May just want to try and save this AWP.
That'll be a little bit frustrating for NATO after getting the first kill of the round. His teammates don't find anything else. And, well, Sprout were kept somewhat low in terms of their money, because remember, that 3rd round in particular was very, very close. They only saved the 1 gun. So Sprout shouldn't really have a great buy heading into the 5th round here. Seems as though NATO, even if he saves the AWP, will be unlikely to have too much support. So we'll have to see if Sprout can get anything done. And it will also be interesting to see where NATO plays with this AWP now. If they do go for the eco, they just lost the B site in that previous round. Maybe NATO will want to switch it up and try and see if he can help hold the B bomb site in this upcoming round. Because as you will see shortly, the money on Sprout not looking great. Probably 1 eco might be enough to get a buy together, so I think that's probably what I'd go for. But either way, not a great position to be in.
Yeah, I don't know if 1 eco will actually be enough. Innis and Spiddy are looking like they're going to actually be facing a double eco. They have 1,500, I believe, each, and 2,400 on 1,900 rather on top of that. And the following round is only going to leave them just about 3,400. So they are going to be a bit short, and that's going to be a problem. Also, Spiddy actually only on 1,300, so it's not going to be a great buy. It may be a double eco. I think maybe buying into this one could have been ideal. They had enough to buy it, to drop 1 M4, and also to NATO could have dropped 1 rather, and then 1 could have been bought up by a different player to drop to a teammate. But yeah, into this one, it is just USPs and a Deagle and CZ to try and back up the op. And early on, a lot of HP advantage going to be given in favour of EPSILON. But as I said, that Crystal steps it up. He's able to find 1 kill, at least retrieves the AK. And back control going to be taken away from EPSILON, with Dennis finding that kill out towards A. This could get a bit dangerous now. 3 on 5. EPSILON trying to bring this back. They still have the weapon advantage overall. And also, in terms of HP, it's looking pretty good in their favour. But still, with 5 members now, if Sprout are just successfully able to trade out, this should be going in their favour. But there we go. Jack able to find 1. Drops Dennis, who perhaps continued that aggression for a little bit too long. But now, Sprout in a good position. They've pushed a couple of players out forward on B. And they should begin to rotate soon. But Spiddy, he gets taken down. And now the A bomb site is just going to be up for the taking. We see Surreal lurking in the connector. He's going to be able to try and cut off this rotate. And it's just beginning to fall apart for Sprout, as at this point they may even have to just try and save this AK and up.
Yeah, I mean, Sprout will probably be a little frustrated again. They got it into that 2-man advantage, and it looks like they have gone and thrown it away. However, at the same time, if they save these 2 guns, that probably will prompt them to go for the force buy. So it could be worse for them. It's just the fact that after getting the 2-man advantage, you feel like you really want to compete in the round, and just a couple of kills completely turn the round on its head. Sprout are just going to have to save what they can, holding off towards the B bomb site. Innocent could take a risk, could try and upgrade his weapon. He's only stuck with a Desert Eagle. However, it doesn't look like he's too interested, so EPSILON will be able to save what they can, or they could try and hunt these guns down. I don't think they really need to, though, especially with their money not being great. Both teams are quite happy to just save. So a little bit of a gentleman's agreement not to go too aggressive. And there we go. Both teams will get to keep 3 guns, even if Sprout only save a Deagle on one of their players. And now, indeed, the force buy can come through. And remember, NATO's still going to have that AWP, so this could certainly be a very dangerous round, depending on how Sprout managed to play it out.
Yeah, Smooya yet to get onto the op. He's just going to be continuing on with the rifle for now, as it's a pretty decent buy overall for the Sprout side. The only real weakness that they have is having that UMP on the Spiddy. Other than that, they have a decent amount of utility and also the rifles to back it up. So EPSILON seems like they may actually be taking the pace up in this round. It may be a faster approach to the A bomb. Say Smooya, he has the opportunity to try and get that opening kill, but it's going to be Robin instead to find it. And Dennis only finds one before falling. But Crystal, look how aggressive he's getting. The flash though doesn't work out in his favor originally. He will still find a single kill. Will instantly be traded back by Surreal, but Spiddy now on the op is going to be able to step it up. He takes down Cosme to bring it back into a 2-on-2, but he's not looking very healthy currently. Innocent on the bomb site though, he's looking okay. And again, EPSILON, let's see where they decide to take this. It looks like they were considering to be bomb site, but they will just make their way back over towards A. And right now Sprout, they've actually yet to rotate, playing this really smart, just sticking on the bomb site, waiting to see if the bomb gets planted over on B. If it does, they can just stick in a pair and just try and retake it together. But now EPSILON walking immediately towards this, and actually Innocent, look how aggressive he's got in down towards middle. He may call that this is open, and Spiddy could maybe get caught off guard.
Yeah, this was effectively a recreation, a carbon copy almost of their pistol round strategy, where Robin lined up the smoke for door, they went up through mid, and now this is awkward. Spiddy is in a pretty good position here. Oh, he might just sneak past and catch Surreal. Surreal will not expect this because Sack has pushed in towards Connector. This could get dicey. Spiddy's still not making a move though, because he doesn't want to take that risk. He doesn't know that they haven't spotted him out. And here we go, Sprout line up the retake. Sack might just realize Spiddy's here, but he's not going to clear the corner. Oh, Spiddy's moved forwards, but the incendiary is thrown, so I think they may have the information now. There we go, Sack hears the steps, gets the kill, and Spiddy will be wondering how long Sack was there, because he might be a little confused about that one. Either way, Innocent is just going to be forced to save, and so EPSILON, after losing the pistol, bring us back to an even scoreline.
Yeah, really good work so far in these gun rounds by EPSILON. Innocent, he is at least able to save that AK over, but once again, Sprout won't have the economy to buy. They have at least some form of money bonus being built up now due to losing the 3 rounds in a row. In the following round, they will get themselves $2,900. So that should allow for a pretty decent buy to come in. But now Smooya, he gets himself the AWP, and it will be a bit of an easier round for EPSILON. By no means is it instantly won, or by no means are Sprout out of it, but they only really have that AK and some pistols to back it up. But also having some Kevlar is a bit of a positive. Right now, EPSILON seems like they will be just splitting up for a default with some pressure towards B and an extremely passive hold over towards A. I believe that is Robin and Smooya who are just going to be holding for any sort of aggression to come out. Right now, though, Spiddy, he's the sole player, and he's actually only working with a Zeus.
Yeah, Spiddy likes that Zeus, doesn't he? He's in towards A long, as you were saying. Pretty good position to play up close. Sometimes you'll see players play there with the Mag 7 as well, if they can't quite afford the full buy. Either way, the deep smoke has gone off towards B flat. Sprout go for the peak though. There's plenty of players on the other side, and you can already see Smooya is going to get that opening kill. Smoke's being lined up, and Innocent is caught in the open. The Molotov takes him down. Only the one frag on towards the B hold, and with the AK being lost, I think that might just settle the round, unless NATO can have a big hold. But Robin, very quick on the trigger, takes him down, and Smooya hunts them down with just the P250. We always talk about Smooya's aggression. Even when he has the AWP, he wants to keep aggressive with the pistol, and EPSILON have turned this game around. Now they are now in the lead.
Yeah, good start into this by EPSILON. We mentioned that or at least I mentioned that I believe they're the team with the more firepower coming into this matchup, and so far they're able to show that. Once they got the rifles out, they've been victorious in 4 rounds now in a row. Sprout, as mentioned though, beginning to build up some loss bonus at least finally, so they're able to get those buys out a little bit more frequently, and also with some better utility to back that up, as well as all the weaponry. Early on though, looks like it will be just a default coming in by EPSILON. Cosmian though, getting extremely aggressive over towards B. I believe he has been spotted, and actually Crystal is able to just spam him down through that smoke. Opening an advantage now going in favour of Sprout, as EPSILON with most of their presence over towards A. Let's see what they eventually decide to do. They still have a lot of time to work with. The bomb's still all the way back in B halls, where only Jack is going to be present. But they aren't really in too much of a rush to make a decision about what they want to do. They're slowly creeping forward and hoping maybe to catch someone from Sprout a bit aggressive and catch him off guard.
Yeah, and it seems like Spiddy is consistently playing in towards Connector, being that rotator. Especially when Sprout get the man advantage, they feel a lot more comfortable in letting him play that role. And as well, they have some information out towards B. They had Innocent somewhat peeking out towards B flat, so they decide to keep him ready to rotate if he is required. And it looks like he may be, because already the push coming in. Robin gets the first, and Smooya also chimes in with a frag. Spiddy on that quick rotate, as I was saying, gets a double. And a dink on towards Robin, so that's a lot of damage done. And that smoke does miss, but Smooya finds the frag. Trade's coming back. The damage is done to the EPSILON players. They're both rather low on health. I said that Robin spots the man, gets the kill. 20 seconds left now in a 1v1. Robin, however, only has 21 points of health, so he's going to have to rely on a quick headshot. And Innocent is going to make his way forward slowly but surely. He has got time to play with the kit in his hands, and there it is. Innocent spots him out, saves the AWP, and Sprout finally gets a gun round to go their way.
Yeah, Sprout, that was looking a little bit close there. It looked like EPSILON may have been able to take it, but just Spiddy steps up massively when it's required. Gets that nice little spray down, gets the dink onto Robin, and then he just falls back off. He eventually did over-aggress a bit, but luckily if his teammate was still able to clutch that one out. So yeah, 4-4 now. EPSILON, they still have the economy to buy into this one, so they're not going to be worried quite yet. They'll be looking to try and reset the economy of Sprout now. The loss bonus, of course, is going to be gone. If they're to lose this one, they'll be set back straight onto the 1400. And they don't really have a perfect buy coming into this one by any means either. Only living with one player. They have the op. They have at least one M4, and they should be able to get another. But I think Dennis and Crystal are probably going to be working with some form of weaker weaponry.
Now, while we have the pause, I'm going to go ahead and take this opportunity to mention our giveaway here at eFrag. We've got a Flip Knife Blue Steel field tested up for grabs. And to enter, you just have to subscribe to the channel here on Twitch. Not only does it help us out, but it also gives you the chance to win that knife. So no reason not to. If you want to subscribe, make sure to go for it. Now is as good a time as any, especially with that knife on the line. And that will be drawn on Sunday after the grand finals of this tournament. So make sure to stick around for the rest of the week. We've got plenty of games coming up. Either way, we're going to head back underway right now. And Sprout, they do still have a decent enough buy, but Crystal is going to go for the AWP. I was going to say, that was a little bit strange, and it will now be given back to NATO, as you would expect. And he's just going to hold passively towards A to start the round.
Yeah, Dennis initially had a bit of an aggressive push. He sees some utility being thrown in by the T side, and we're just trying down his own Molotov to try and delay a small amount as he does just fall back, make sure he can actually work with NATO Sapphics and not be alone. You don't want to allow EPSILON to get these 1 versus 1 chances because, as mentioned, they do have some very skilled players, and a lot of the time they're going to be able to win those ones out, or at least find the trades. But now EPSILON just focusing on the map control, getting your way up towards A, trying to get control of long, and then later on in towards middle. It is a fairly standard play on Cobblestone. It gives you the option about actually being able to hit towards the say bomb site, or else you can just fall back, and then the CT side have to be cautious of this position. You have to be cautious of lurkers, but Jack, that was close there. He was almost able to get that onto Spiddy. Down to 28 HP onto Spiddy now, as early on EPSILON able to get themselves a HP advantage as well as a lot of map control to work with. So Sprout, what are they going to do now to try and get this back in their favour? Aggressive pushes can be extremely difficult, so pushing for info isn't something that's always so easy on Cobblestone.
Yeah, 40 seconds left, and EPSILON finally grouping up. Except for Cosmine, who's still in towards drop, but there goes NATO. He's going to get that first kill quite easily towards mid, and he's also going to reposition. EPSILON might not expect him to be on the site itself. 25 seconds, and Sack is going to get the opening for EPSILON. Push comes in, Sack spots the man. So it's back to a 3v3, but NATO misses that key shot. 15 seconds though, and EPSILON need to get a move on here. Cosmine is nowhere near the action, so it's up to these two players towards A, and they're going to be taken down one by one. Cosmine in towards Connector just cannot do anything about this. He might have played a little bit too passively, and oh, NATO, I think, yeah, took him down after time there. A very quick shot. It was very close, but it will be Sprout to regain the lead.
Yeah, EPSILON definitely still have a pretty decent investment though into this one. Cosmine, of course, due to dying after the time, is going to be limited. He gets a UMP along with the Kevlar, doesn't get any utility to work with, but I think the rest of his teammates having enough to really compensate for that, at least for now. Early on into the round, they do have quite a lot to work with. Only a small amount has been thrown out early on, so they aren't really too limited. But right now, Sprout, a bit of an aggressive stance over towards A, but it seems like EPSILON are going to be swapping it up. So far, we've seen them really focusing on the A bomb site. This time though, grouped up in the B halls with 4 players. The presence being shown towards drop, and Robin even making his way back over in this direction now means that we likely will see EPSILON looking to try and go for an execute, and Smooya, he's just going to be leading the way out, finds that kill onto Innocent over the top of the smoke. Crystal of course is still below in that position, may not be expected, but it's going to be more damage being done now as Spiddy is down to 38, and this could get difficult, especially with Smooya being able to find more. Robin shuts down Crystal. He's not able to get a single kill from that position, and because of that Sprout, they've already decided to just go for this save.
Yeah, this is, I think, the main weakness, to be honest, is Sprout's setup. They have normally Spiddy in towards Connector. Fairly often, at least, he's in towards Connector. So, EPSILON, if they go for a quick B push, could certainly overwhelm the players towards that B site, especially considering it's very difficult to hold drop. So, if you split towards B, yeah, it's not going to be easy for Sprout to hold that off with only 2 players. So, EPSILON going to be able to, again, win another gun round, and Sprout really don't have the money built up. They're going to have to probably save into this upcoming round. Yeah, only $2,000 on most players. So it looks as though they're just going to have to go for maybe 1 eco would be enough, but even that might not be. It's still going to be certainly on the edge. And it might be time to put NATO with that AWP back over towards that B bomb site, because it seemed like when he was there, he was doing a little bit more damage, and the players currently towards B not necessarily holding it off all that well for Sprout.
Yeah, certainly not. And also, well, at least they do have NATO Sapix in position for that. That is going to be a positive. They have the op there ready to try and hold this one down. But EPSILON, I don't really think they're in too much of a rush. It looks like they may be taking this one quite fast, and maybe that could give a bit of a chance now to Sprout to try and get something done. Crystal, similar position to the previous round. Let's see if it works this time. And no, the answer is definitely it's not gonna, as Chak is able to take him down. And NATO Sapix, he may get overwhelmed, but he hits the first shot. He's going to try and repeat, but Cosmian is going to be able to successfully take him down, and Spiddy finds the trade, even picks up the AWP. He's not going to be able to get anything else done with that, as instantly Smoothie returns it. And now it's going to be a 3-on-2 in favour of EPSILON with full control of this B bomb site. And Robin just wants at least 1 player in towards the drop room. And Dennis with an AK. He's going to look to try and go for this one, is the question, as now he's just going to be the last man standing.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if he's going to go for this one at this point. For what it's worth, 3 of the players on the Sprout side did fully invest, so it won't be a buy into this upcoming round. And Dennis will indeed look to save the AK. Does get the 1 kill on towards Cosmian, so that's a nice little bonus, but not a massive issue for EPSILON. They can afford to throw away these guns at this point. They have a decent amount of money already, and they're likely going to be up against a weakened buy here. And I think Sprout just probably need to put more players towards B at the start of the round. I think it's probably worth just having 3 players towards B straight at the start, just to make sure you can hold off the early aggression, because it's fairly unlikely that you're going to see a quick push out towards A. And if you do, then you can quite often spot it from fairly far away. You can call for the rotation. Whereas towards B, it's much more difficult to do that, and that's kind of being proven. EPSILON working that B site a couple of rounds in a row, and, well, Sprout in this round aren't going to have too much to work with. Wait, they're going to force. Okay, 3 rifles. It's not as bad as I thought, but it is certainly a risk to take at this point.
Yeah, I'd say so. It's not too bad, the fact that they actually have those 3 rifles. They have a decent amount of utility at least to work with. But still, EPSILON, they've been looking good so far since they've been able to actually get all these rifles out, get everything they've wanted. I believe we've only seen those 2 gun rounds gone in favour of Sprout, and then instantly EPSILON being able to return it now and reclaim that lead. Or rather, claim that lead. As right now, Sprout, let's see what they're going to be able to get done. They have come with 3 players over towards B early on. 2 just over towards A, but one of those being extremely passive. That's just Spiddy actually sitting back extremely passive with that CZ. Not really the best long-range weapon. He will now return back towards B, where currently EPSILON are making quite a bit of noise. They're showing a lot of presence. They've used quite a lot of utility, and looks like right now, I believe that's Innocent and Crystal were actually trying to get something done. Innocent at least trying to bait for his teammate who's hiding up in the corner. But now EPSILON is looking to try and get themselves some control. They drop in towards the drop room, and this gives the option now for a B split if they wish to do so, which actually for Sprout may not be too bad. They have a pretty decent setup on this side of the map currently.
Yeah, not looking too bad for Sprout right now, especially as they do have a couple of the rifle players leaning over towards B. Having said that, Dennis over towards A gets picked off. That's going to force some sort of rotation, and that Molotov allows Zach an easy kill. The rotation now comes back towards B, which is the correct call, but the kills are still coming in. EPSILON now just going to completely overwhelm the site. A team ace for EPSILON, everyone chiming in with a frag. And I think it is fair enough that Sprout have called for the pause here, because that was an incredibly one-sided round.
Yeah, certainly EPSILON, it was looking a little bit awkward there maybe for a minute, but they just, that first kill coming in, Dennis falling over towards A, just kind of, I guess Sprout got a little bit nervous, and then EPSILON were able to just overrun them. A perfectly placed Molotov forced Crystal out into the open. He was taken down, and from there kind of just spiraled out of control. But yeah, a pause coming in. I presume this is tactical for a Sprout. It probably is needed at this point, as it looks like once again they will be just facing an eco. Won't really have a full buy into this one, or really any sort of buy at all. Only Dennis is able to invest, and he actually buys himself down to 1800. So he's adding body armor. Over on the EPSILON side, of course, they still have everything they want, and they're beginning to build up a pretty decent bank also late into this half, so I don't think they'll really be struggling for economy.
And for what it's worth, again, it's Smooya leading the way for EPSILON with 13 frags. We were also singing the praises of Surreal in the past series. However, this time around, he's not having that good of a game, and yet still EPSILON leading the way with the 7-5 scoreline. Obviously, Sprout invests somewhat into this round, or at least Dennis is going to. He spent $1,000, whereas the rest of the team haven't invested whatsoever. So Dennis might be forced down to a UMP into the upcoming round, but the rest of the team not going to buy up. And here we go, heading into this one. Should be easy for EPSILON. They are, however, spread out, but Cosmine, very quick reactions for the first kill. And it will be EPSILON, as expected, to get the first frag.
Yeah, I don't know how much Sprout are really going to be able to do in this. Ideally now they just want to maybe even try and get a couple of kills themselves, pick up some rifles, because they'd then be able to get a bit of a better buyout in the following round. They have a good amount of money bonus built up at least. They will be getting 2,900. And Spitty actually finding at least one there with the USP, an extra 300 for him to work with, of course. Not really too bad of a pickup, considering he didn't invest at all into this round. All he had was the USP, so he'd be happy enough with that. But still, man advantage for EPSILON, and it looks like they're going to come out over towards the A bomb site, and it's just going to be Dennis in position to try and hold this one down. But maybe if he gets Smooya, the op could be retrieved. No matter though, Smooya holds the angle, expects that push, and is able to catch it off guard and shut it down. So EPSILON making their way onto the A bomb site. This should be the round, unless we see NATO Safix having the best round of his life for the USP, and as you can see, that is not going to happen. So Crystal is the last man standing. This round is all but over.
Yeah, unfortunately for Sprout, considering they won the pistol round, this half has not gone how they would have hoped. Already 7-5 down, it's going to be 8-5. And again, remember, they got the 3-0 lead at the start, so clearly the gun rounds have been going very, very wrong for them. There goes Robin getting the final frag. And so it will now finally be a buy again for Sprout. Dennis can still afford the buy, so there you go. It will be a full buy for their side. And they're going to switch it up slightly, going for the 2 AWPs this time around. This is something that Sprout certainly have the ability to do. Crystal's certainly a competent AWPer. He's going to try and use that over towards the B bomb site. And here we go. A couple of players in towards mid might go aggressive. Robin is the only man here for EPSILON, so he needs to be careful. However, it looks as though EPSILON are going to go for some early aggression. Out towards B plat, it's Smooya trying to work a pick. Nades are going to come in towards him. Those could do some damage. Indeed, he's down to 60 HP, so just decides to fall back. In the meantime, Robin, despite being the only player towards A, has got a little aggressive here, and he will be picked off. There we go. Yet again, NATO gets the first kill for Sprout.
Yeah, good opening for Sprout into this one. If they're able to get the final 2 rounds, they'll still be in a pretty decent position. Definitely be a very respectable half, and a good start into this one. Definitely NATO Safix able to take down Robin. Damage being done onto both Smooya and also Saka, as he was taken down to 80 also. I'm not quite sure where that happened, but I know EPSILON, just about a minute remaining. They'll have to make a decision soon about where they want to take this, and it's looking like it will be towards the B bomb site. It's real. They'll just try and cut off the rotates, it seems, from this position, as the other 3 teammates, they're going to have to try and actually claim control of this B bomb site. And Zach, he starts it off great. Quick double headshot comes in. He's on Innocent and Crystal. Dennis will return that though in the connector. So we remain in a 3-on-3, and Spitty going to be able to take down one successfully. Cosmine treads it out once again, but time beginning to run out now, and the bomb down on the B bomb site itself means they don't really have a lot of time to work with. This boost, will Smooya even be able to make it around in time? As now he's going to be the last man standing. Dennis, he hears the noise of the boost, pushes in and takes that one with ease. And Biddy, he closes that out from behind. So Sprout indeed, they are going to get that round. It was looking a little bit shaky after that double entry out platform, but they're able to pull that one back together and get themselves a 6th round onto the board.
And just before the last round of the half, Dennis is calling for the pause. Considering Sprout just won the round, I don't think it will be a tactical one. Probably some sort of technical issue they're just going to get sorted out. But yeah, heading into the last round of the half, we'll see if EPSILON decide to switch anything up. They certainly have been leaning much more on towards that B bomb site, but this time around Sprout managed to stop them. So they could try and go back towards A if they think there is a chance for them. Having said that, actually, is Spiddy going to take the AWP here? This is very interesting. Huh. I mean, I just don't know what this is. They have NATO Sapphics and Crystal, both of which have been AWPers in the past. But no, I guess Spiddy's going to take it out towards B flat. We'll get to see if he can do anything. We'll get to see if it's justified. See what could be up against Smooya's AWP on the T side. And yeah, here we go. Well, Spiddy accidentally walks into that molly there, down to 66 HP. Not the best start. Let's hope his AWPing's a little better than his movement.
Yeah, hopefully, but right now it is going to be just Robin creeping up towards long. Spam coming through the smoke, getting very close, just using that as a bit of a bait for NATO Sapphics, who's currently up close on this position, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be checked. Cosmin, he's not going to check it either, so this is a really good spot right now, as he should be able to capitalize with at least 1 kill out of this. He will get that one. Dennis going to be able to find a kill also, but traded back by Surreal now, the A-bomb site. It is going to be up for the take, and 2 players currently for EPSILON over in his position, and actually Sack looking like he wants to try and lurk through drop room. See what he's going to be able to get done. Perhaps would have been better to just go ahead and rotate back around to his teammates, but he does want to look to try and go for this one. But no, there we go. He is going to back off now. So playing this as safe as possible. We can see Sprout just being so cautious of this position. They have to be wary that it's a possibility that he has decided to stick around and could be coming in on that flank. As right now, Sprout, time beginning to run down, and they need to get a move on soon. Smooya with the off though. He's going to try and ensure that that doesn't happen, and he's doing a good job at it. He gets himself too, and Surreal is going to go in with that final onto Spiddy, and EPSILON with a 9-6 half.
Yeah, solid half for EPSILON, all things considered, especially when you take into account that they lost that pistol round. And if they win this second half now, they would be in very, very good shape. We are going to head underway for the second half pistol shortly. Let's take a look at the frag counts. Again, Smooya is certainly leading the way, but the rest of EPSILON also doing a decent enough job to sort of carry them through to the scoreline they already have. And to be honest, it wasn't anything particularly impressive tactically from EPSILON. It seemed like, for the most part, they relied on just kind of their individual plays or just pushing together as a team, which I think works quite well for this EPSILON lineup. They certainly have the ability to do so, and they proved that in that first half. And here we go, Sprout for this pistol round, buying up a CZ, giving it over to Spiddy with the Kevlar. It's going to be interesting. We'll get to see what he can do with that Raid Boss strategy coming in.
Yeah, it looks like the goal, at least at the moment, will be just to split towards this A-bomb site, but Robin, he finds one. Smooya also going to be able to get Dennis, and this boost coming in is interesting, and it's actually completely working out. Surreal and Smooya just shut down the connector push, and it's going to be all left on the Crystal. The one man who went for that utility, so he is not going to have any Kevlar to work with either. 1 on 4, and I don't know what his chances really are to get much done in this. When he doesn't have control of the bomb, it's down in the connector, and it's going to be really difficult for him to actually try and get this one back.
I don't really see what Crystal can do. There are 4 players all around the bomb for EPSILON, just locking it down. And EPSILON, I think in the past, when I've seen them on Cobblestone, they've almost always done that boost in towards connector on the pistol. So maybe Sprout not quite doing their homework as they get caught out by the stack in towards that position. And there we go, EPSILON straight up to double digits. At this point, Sprout, they'll probably go for the force buy, but they won't have much to show for it. And EPSILON are going to make sure they don't lose against the pistols. They're going to get plenty of rifles just to keep themselves as confident as possible. And Sprout are going to just spread out. They have only the one Desert Eagle. The P250s might have to try and get up close to do the damage. And now they will have a fair few players group up. Looks like Robin is also going to try and hold in towards drop, so he could be caught out if a push were to come in towards him. But it doesn't look like that's going to be happening, because right now Sprout are out towards B flat.
Yeah, it's gonna be going to be difficult for Sprout to really get much done in this one. They have some utility to work with at least, which is a bit of an advantage, but no smokes remain anymore, as it's only going to be flashes and a nade that are going to be available. EPSILON don't have a lot themselves, but they do have the firepower advantage, and that is going to be enough, it seems, so far, as they get all of the kills. Robin gets himself another onto Dennis, Breda gets himself one onto Dennis, and should be closed out now as Cosmine is going to be able to take down NATO Sapphics. So not a single kill to come in for Sprout there on that investment, and now they are going to be looking at an eco once again, and another pause actually going to be called by Dennis.
Yeah, quite a few pauses for Sprout throughout this game. I don't know how many of them have been tactical or technical, but this is probably... well, I don't even know, because they're not going to get a buy into this round. Either way, we'll get to see what they can go for. Remember, NATO is saving up for that AWP to get that as soon as possible, with $3,000 in the bank on towards him. And EPSILON should be able to build up a lot of money after winning that round very convincingly. All 5 players surviving. They should be able to save most of the guns again into this one. And to be honest, there's not too much to talk about, because this is just going to be a fairly boring round. We shouldn't really see any investment from Sprout. I guess we can talk about what they can try and go for in the opening gun round, because they're going to be 12-6 down. I think they'll more than likely take that first gun round slowly. It seems like whenever teams sort of have must-win rounds, they often don't want to take a massive risk early on. So I'd expect them to go quite slow with their first gun round when that comes through. But for the time being, just 5 Glocks and a Dream for Sprout in this round.
Yeah, and while there's not much for Sprout to work with, I'm going to go ahead and just tell everyone that there is a giveaway being done on this channel for subscribers. The prize for that will be a Flip Knife Blue Steel field tested, so if you want to get yourself in with a chance of being able to actually win that one, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Why not? If you already want to subscribe, it's just a bit extra for you guys to actually be able to get out of it. So there will be, as a reminder, a Flip Knife Blue Steel field tested up for grabs. As right now, should still really be basically nothing possible for Sprout in this round. Maybe they can get a bomb plant if they stick together and get a kill or two out of it, but Cobblestone, not really one of them maps where it's easy to get onto the bomb site without getting those kills. It's not like a train where if you just rush to B bomb site, you're able to get a plant. You have to actually try and overcome a lot of the map before you can actually get into a position to get the bomb plant.
Yeah, Sprout just sitting back, waiting patiently, hoping that EPSILON make a mistake. It's probably not an awful idea, because as we talk about, a few of the EPSILON players like to get aggressive at certain times, but this time around they won't be making that mistake. Sack, for some reason, has the USP out rather than the FAMAS. It still works for him to get the 1 kill, and then the FAMAS is out for the second. So as you would expect, a fairly easy round. Robin is going to take down Crystal, who had his knife out, and this time it's another pause called, this time from EPSILON. I'm not sure if this is a bit of a jab at Sprout for taking so many pauses, but either way, they're going to take the pause for this round. And I mean, they could certainly be discussing things, because Smooya's bought the AWP. Robin kind of has to think whether he should upgrade to the rifle. But yeah, Sprout will go for the buy. We'll get to see likely NATO going for the AWP, and we'll get to see if the buy is going to work out for Sprout, because this is effectively a must-win at this point.
Yeah, if they don't win this one, likely EPSILON reach 14, and then it's only really one more chance at a gun round for Sprout, and if they're not successful, then EPSILON likely going to be able to close this first map out. So it's not a great position right now for Sprout. They are able to get the buyout, as was mentioned, but it's not perfect either. Crystal's going to go ahead and relegate himself to that Galil in order to get utility, but other than that, they at least have the up on the NATO Sapphics. He hasn't been maybe having as good of a game as we would have hoped, but he's definitely had his rounds. Smooya, on the other hand, 19-8, doing a great job so far with that up, and he just seems to be doing a great job in every single game for the EPSILON lineup. He seems to be that consistent player, and it's strange because his playstyle isn't something that should be so consistent. He's just super aggressive, and it just tends to work in his favor most of the time.
Now we're going to see EPSILON just spread out into their default with Cosmine boosted up. As we were saying, NATO Sapphics does have that AWP again. I'm interested to see if he tries to work any opening kills, because that AWP can become somewhat clunky if you have to try and push towards the site with it. So I would hope that he would either stick in the back lines and just wait for the post plant, or try and get the entry. For the time being, though, they're leading Crystal over towards A, while the rest of the team lean back towards B. I'm not sure how much Crystal is going to get done, though, because Smooya is here with the AWP. Gets that first kill, but he has also called for a little bit of a rotation. But now Robin realizes there's no push coming in yet, so he'll stay in connector, and make sure he stays towards B, because Sprout are now making their way down drop.
Yeah, Robin going to be able to open that one up, though. He will be successfully traded, but Cosmin still in a great position here, playing from the rock and doing so perfectly, gets himself another. That means it's going to be all onto Innocent now. He's left in a 1-on-3, Cosmin low. The other two players, they were looking quite healthy, but Smoothie is actually taking a bit of damage, but it doesn't matter. He has the op, he has the longer range angle, and he's going to be able to close that now. So EPSILON, they take themselves a very crucial gun round, and Sprout now on the back foot. This is not looking good. It's looking, well, just terrible, I guess is the best way to put it right now. Sprout, I think most people probably would have presumed that they would be able to take this map.
Yeah, I mean, they did win it last time they played against EPSILON, but it's still EPSILON's map pick. It was still very close. And clearly, I think this is just EPSILON again showing up. As I said last time, I really feel like EPSILON underperformed in that previous game against Sprout, rather than Sprout doing anything particularly impressive. They just played to a decent level, decent enough to be able to come out on top. Push is coming out towards Plat, and Cosmin waiting patiently, biding his time, and now he will pounce. In comes the first kill. Surreal's going to steal the second one away. Cosmin gets another frag. Finally, NATO gets the first one for Sprout. It's too little, too late. He will fall. A rather quick round for EPSILON to get their 14th. And to be honest, Sprout, I mean, they do have the buy here, but at this point, they might be looking ahead to their own map pick of Cash, because this feels like an almost insurmountable lead.
Yeah, I don't know if Sprout are going to be able to overcome this one. They have at least one more buy now. They will give them a bit of a chance. They don't have the op on the NATO Sapphics though, so it will be just 5 rifles. At least have an abundance of a utility. So they have that to work with. That is a positive. But EPSILON right now just definitely looking like the better team. It's looking like they've had control of this entire game throughout the course of it. And Sprout, they definitely need to show up big time now. Following map if they aren't able to get much more done on this one. Ideally, maybe even just chain a few rounds together, try and get themselves some confidence and momentum built up to actually kind of warm themselves up for the upcoming map. But I don't know if that's the better thing. Sometimes you'd rather just lose it outright rather than getting close and then just falling over the last hurdle, really. That can be even worse for your mentality. But right now, it is going to be Dennis. He's able to find that opening at least onto Smoothie. Much needed opening as well to really emphasize how important this round is right now for Sprout. It is going to be 2 players on the A-bomb site. Spitty finds that one there, is able to take down Robin. NATO Sapphics also able to find one over towards Long. So Sprout actually able to get themselves a great advantage into this round. 5 against 2 now, as only Real and Cosmin remain. Cosmin is going to get taken down as he tries to rotate in. So all down to that final UK player in a 1-on-5. And he probably should just be looking to save, but then again, they have a bit of money, so maybe damage could be on the table.
Yeah, EPSILON have a lot of money in the bank, so it's probably worth doing damage to the Sprout economy, but to be honest, EPSILON are already so close to map point that it's not a massive deal either way. Kill is going to come in though. Dennis has the AWP recovered. And to be honest, that was just EPSILON kind of getting picked off there. I think, again, the one thing I will say about EPSILON is that they do kind of rely on their individual skill rather heavily. But it seems like that's going to work out for them for the most part. Again, Smoothie leading the way in terms of frags. Surreal certainly has been stepping up after a somewhat poor start from him. He's up to a decent level now. And EPSILON's certainly still going to have the buy with Smoothie straight onto that AWP. He's been over towards B fairly often so far. It's probably worth switching up his position every now and then, just so it's not too predictable. However, this time around, he will go towards A long. So there we go. Does decide to slightly switch things up, coming in towards mid. He's going to try and play this tight angle. It doesn't look like he's going to get too much action, but as I say that, now the push comes in. Smoothie does indeed get that opening pick. Maybe Sprout not expecting the AWP to be in that position, and he gets that first frag fairly easily, and he's not spotted the second. Smoothie could be in trouble. Zach's already gone down, and Dennis taps off a couple of heads and completely opens up the A site. Yeah,
Dennis stepping it up massively there, able to get that quick double headshot. And EPSILON now, I think they probably will be just looking to try and save the rest of this round, the rest of the weapons that they have, because if they do manage to save, they should be able to get a buyout. Smoothie, he has some decent economy to work with. Surreal would be able to drop an op over, and they'd have a pretty solid buy into the following round. But Sprout, at least able to get themselves up towards 8 now, or at least they should be able to. EPSILON doesn't look like they're going to go for it, at least not at the moment. So Sprout getting some rounds at least chained together now towards the end. Will they have really the mental fortitude to actually be able to bring this one back? Because it's still a long road ahead, and EPSILON only needing to pick up 2 rounds. That's not really a lot of room for Sprout to work with in terms of those errors and mistakes that they can actually make.
Well, there we go. Sprouts are going to get up to their 8th round. And as you were saying, I mean, Smooya got the first kill. They just didn't quite spot the man, Dennis, who pushed through. And those 2 frags are all Sprout need to claim another round win. They haven't, however, managed to get on top of the economy game just yet, which is probably what they're going to need to. Considering how many rounds behind they are, they're probably going to have to force EPSILON down to a couple of ecos, unless they want to straight up win out all these gun rounds, which is a very tough ask. So 1 more round win, and EPSILON should be at least on a weakened buy, and Smooya boosted up again. He's just making everything happen for EPSILON. That AWP again gets the first kill. And the incendiary will be well deployed, so Sprout can't really get the aggression going. They're kind of now stuck out in the open where they can't commit to the push towards the site, but they can't really fall back that safely. They're in really awkward positions now, and this is looking good for EPSILON as kills come in. Surreal pounces, gets a couple of frags, and Sprout stuck in a 2 versus 4. It's not looking good for them.
Yeah, not at all. Should be map point now for EPSILON, as Innocent and Spiddy, they do still have just about a minute to work with. But I don't know what they're going to be able to get done in this position. Both of them are just at the moment hanging around in the B halls, looking to see if maybe any mistakes are made by EPSILON. But I don't think any are going to be, as at least for the sake of Sprout currently, or at least it was going to be an equal split 2 onto either bomb site for the CT side, but they are going to go ahead and rotate another player back. Smooya comes back to try and help. Surreal, along with that bot flash, is going to be able to take down Spiddy, and Robin is the one to close it, as EPSILON do indeed get themselves up to 15. The Sprout, they will be able to get some form of a buyout into this round, but it's not going to be perfect.
Yeah, and it looks very likely that Cash will be what Sprouts have to play for the second map of this series. And I think it's, again, worth pointing out that EPSILON haven't yet played Cash with this lineup. Similar to Train against QB Fire. They played that game and they haven't played Train in the past. Same comes here against Sprout on Cash. I think Cash should be fine, though, for EPSILON, to be honest. They have a fair few players that will be willing to make plays. Smooya with the AWP can make some plays, which certainly is an option on Cash. And again, it's Smooya to get the first kill. He gets flashed in and decides not to fully commit to the peak, but spots the second, claims the 3rd frag. Smooya just going off throughout this entire map. And I think that's pretty much summed things up for Sprout. They've just been picked apart by EPSILON throughout this map.
Yeah, there should be. I don't know if anything's going to be able to be done. Innocent may find this kill at least, but it may only be a small consolation at this point, as they are still outnumbered 2-1. EPSILON should be able to close this one out. The bomb is at least retrieved by Spiddy, but right now he's going to be just completely surrounded by EPSILON players. You see Robin also pushing him down and towards middle. Cosmin, he will actually fall to Spiddy, but still, it should be eventually traded out. But Innocent going to be able to find Smooya, and now it's getting a bit scary for EPSILON. Going from a 5-on-2 into a 2-on-2. They may still have the correct choice coming in, as they do stack up with both players over on this A bomb site, and currently this is where Sprout are going to be taking this bomb, and I think they will have to commit to this now with the time beginning to just run down low. 30 seconds remains, and it's just going to be a Robin now to try and hold this one down. A nice pop flash at least, or rather a nice flash goes in, lines him up. He is going to be able to get the first dink on the Spiddy before being traded out by Innocent, and a Surreal and a 1-on-1 to try and close this one out for EPSILON, as the bomb is going to make its way towards the site. Should also be planted, but Surreal, let's see what he decides to go for. He may just try and move instantly out the door, but stops at least for the moment. He has the defuse kit. He has plenty of time to work with. It has only gone down this second. And now he's going to be able to creep out towards the van. Innocent. So many different angles to check. He doesn't have any sort of info about where this final player can be. Well, Surreal is aware that Innocent had to have been near the bomb site to get that plant, and he's going to be able to shut him down. And EPSILON will take themselves this first map with a 16-8 scoreline. And we will go back to the desk now to actually discuss this one.
Welcome back, ladies and gents, to Farmskins Analyst Desk. And as you saw, EPSILON managed to take that cobble 16-8. Regarding all of the stuff we said before the game, actually came true. Smooya, once again, really confident in every AWP duel he took, and it's pretty interesting to watch him, I must admit. And he played quite well for his team. On the other side, Sprout, not so good. Once again on Cobble, Crystal had a rough game. Innocent didn't really perform that well. Had underwhelming game as well. Danny, what's happening with Crystal?
I mean, there's no way you can win a match with two guys in team who are having like less than 10 kills for so many rounds, and especially Crystal with only 4 kills for the whole match. I mean, unless you have Flamey with 31 kill in the team, but even so, it's still really hard even for Flamey to carry out his teammates. I mean, that's really unfortunate for Team Sprout and especially for Crystal because he's an in-game leader. But although EPSILON played really good once again, this time Smuja once again delivering so much for his team, holding that B site. But this time, what was the name of that player from EPSILON? Surreal, yeah. Okay. He was really good against QBF match before, but this time he was. I mean, I had to say he was a bit exhausted, but still his teammates were really doing good.
Yeah, I mean they played two maps before this, had 1 hour break, and now who knows, maybe they played 3 maps here after winning. Of course, this one, maybe second one goes into overtime and so on and so on. But EPSILON definitely looking good. Even better and better after every map, I would say, performing quite well on every single map they played currently. And I read a little tweet from Smuja. He said that train against QB Fire was first train as a team, and that's pretty interesting as well. I mean, coming to a map with 5 players, yeah, they're perfectly skilled. Individual skill is on point, but you need to have team chemistry, right? To know when to molly, when to cover your teammate, how to cover it. And it seems like their communication is right on point when they played that train like they did in previous map against QB Fire. So congrats once again for EPSILON. Hogar, what can you say about Sprout? I mean, yeah, it was Cobble, and that's one of their most played maps, right? It's a really good map for Sprout, but seems like EPSILON practically shutting down every attempt of Sprout taking some sides just because Smuja is so aggressive on A-long, and maybe he doesn't get triple kills and double kills all the time, but he usually gets at least one with AWP that kind of cripples your default setup, right?
Yeah, if you get 1 kill, survive, even if you're with low HP, it doesn't matter. Even if you're traded like 1-on-1, 1-for-1, I mean, if their team doesn't know how to adapt to the clutch situation because you're obviously not in the default setup and you cannot run some setup. For example, that guy who is killed, maybe he needed to be alive in order to smoke some exit or some entrance. I mean, if you cannot clutch that round, you're messed up. And the Smuja got those kills so often, so I mean they couldn't run anything. Everything they planned, it went to waste, right? So the thing is, I'm sad. Innocent had also a bad game, and together with Crystal, when you see two guys underperforming, you really cannot hope for the more than a couple of rounds, right?
Yeah, I mean, only 8 rounds on one of the most played maps for Sprout is definitely not enough. And
I want to say one thing before we go. Sorry for interrupting. Maybe they were again scouting them at Team EPSILON. I mean, the strange city round, the pistol round, there were 3 in the connector, and they stuck. They made a tower in that area, fence area, I would say, behind the pillar, and the one guy was peeking the window. As they know the Sprout were gonna rush drop zone towards A site, so they're gonna split A. I mean, it was probably they watched some demos, and they were prepared.
Yeah, I mean, you need to be prepared playing that kind of teams, right? Yeah. So if that's the case, congrats once again to EPSILON. If they're so prepared for every team they played, I mean, they deserve a clap or applause. Yeah, that's it. We are going for a short commercial break before we go into the second map that will be Cash, and it's picked by Sprout. But of course, before we go to a commercial break, make sure to check farmskins.com. They have currently cases on sale that goes to 90% off, so you can grab yourself a nice skin. We're going to be back shortly, so stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gents, to Farmskins Championship Season 2, and on the analyst desk of Farmskins, I'm Rem, and I will be your host for today, and together with me in studio, Danny and Hogar by my left side here. You're right, but my left.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
I'm always right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's get started slowly with second map between Sprout and EPSILON. Second map is Cash, a map that kind of replaced Dust 2 in a sense. Basically, it all comes down to raw aim power, individual skill from players. You don't usually see tactical approach. We talked about that a lot of times, and it's, I mean, pretty good map to watch when you have a lot of good individuals, right? Because you can see crazy frags. It's so open map that you can basically see a lot of things. So looking back at Cobble, I mean, it wasn't any tactical approach there as well, right? It was all coming down to Smuja getting kills with AWP, a couple of players stepping up. Zach had okay-ish game. It was all aim power. And when you come to Cash, I mean, you picked Cash and want to go with full aim power towards Epsilon. Can they make it, Danny?
Yeah, I mean, Sprout, if they continue to play like they did on Cobblestone with Crystal with 4 frags and Innocent with 7, roughly, 8 maybe.
I think he had 10.
10?
Yeah.
Okay, still 10, but it's going to be really hard because I think that Epsilon players are like better shooters, especially Cosmin, Surreal, and Smuya. Even Zak can shoot well like he did on the previous map, although he was a bit lacking against QBF. But still, I think that I will give an edge to Epsilon on this one, just because they're better shooters, and I think they're better at making some plays.
Howard, what do you think? Can Epsilon bring this 2-0 after being down in elimination match and now can make it through all to the playoffs?
Yeah, for sure. They showed us pretty big and diverse knowledge of CS, how to approach the game. They have such a good aimers in the team. Smuya maybe is the new prodigy. I mean, him with the NATO suffix are two currently newest addition to European CS scene, right? And they both are oppers. And I mean, I'm really glad I'm seeing new guys on the scene. They're relatively new, and I think they cannot compare with the guys from Sprout, at least for today.
Yeah, no one can brag about UKCS when you see Smuya play, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even Surreal, he's from UK as well, and he's playing well. He has his on and off moments, but he's usually consistent for Epsilon. And we go into Cash, definitely no map for both teams. I actually can't say like, oh, did Epsilon actually prepare Cash? Because yeah, it all maybe comes down to mid-round calls. I would say that can decide a game. If Crystal is so experienced that he reads Epsilon so well that they don't know how to rotate, they kind of over-rotate at one point, and Crystal can shine at that point. But I don't think it's going to come down from beginning of the round like some crazy tactical approach that will surprise us or Epsilon as well. What do you think, Hover? Can those mid-round calls actually decide here game for Sprout?
I think Sprout needs on their terrorist side to have control of the middle, because in that point when you have control of the middle, you, how to say, split their defense on 2 parts of the map, and it's really hard to rotate. Because they don't have such a good aimers in their team, they need to play more tactically. That's why they need that part of the map. So Crystal can make some good mid-round calls, as you said. And other thing on their city side, it's same story. They need that control middle. They cannot let it go to stay stuck like one forklift, one site, one car, just without knowing and letting two guys on the B be there by themselves. Obviously, only because of that they cannot shoot. Even worse if Crystal is on B, because B side is really hard to retake. I mean, if he dies there, you cannot win that round.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, mid is pretty important, like on Mirage, for example. Maybe not as important, but it definitely is. So seems like we are soon ready to start this map, and we can go slowly into our predictions. So Hogar, you will start first now.
Epsilon 16-2.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Someone wants to go home earlier.
Yeah. Sprout.
I mean, Sprout is
dropping bombs here in studio. I see, Hogar.
Yeah, what can I do?
I mean,
that was nice. That was clever.
Yeah. I mean that Sprout is better on paper, but even though they won in the first opening match of Groups D against Epsilon 2-0 or 2-1, maybe 2-1. Yeah, it was Inferno as decider. I still think they're better on paper, but they need to prove us like wrong, that we are actually wrong about them and win this game. But I'll still lean towards Epsilon, and I say 16-9.
69 Epsilon. Okay, so now it's not a split desk. You've changed your mind.
Yeah.
And
What can I tell you?
yeah, I'm going to remember that. Someone needs to go home. Yes, proud. 10 out of 10. Yeah, seems like we are ready to go live into the game. Once again, bringing you the action for maybe possibly last map of this day, Ardeen and Hoka.
Thank you, guys. I am excited now to get back into the action. It should be a good map coming out. EPSILON actually yet to play this map, so it'll be interesting to see what they are able to really bring on this map. It should be an interesting game indeed. Sprout, let's see if they're going to be able to redeem themselves from the previous map. They didn't really have such a great performance. It was 16-8 in favor of EPSILON. But as always, I'm going to be Dean, and I am joined by Hoka.
Yeah, hello. I'm, again, as always, excited to be here. We'll get to see if Sprout can give us a little bit of a closer game this time around. It is their own map pick here, but Sprout have not played Cash all that often. So I still feel like, personally, I feel like EPSILON will be able to take this, to be honest. I don't feel like Cash is a particularly strong map for Sprout. But at the same time, NATO could certainly open things up with the AWP, as could Smooya on the EPSILON side of things. That could again be another pivotal matchup in terms of individual players, and NATO was pretty good for Sprout. However, oftentimes on the T side, EPSILON did a good job at avoiding him.
Yeah, I feel like NATO Safix didn't really get a chance to step it up. We've seen some great plays out of him. I believe even last night he had some great performances up against, was it QB Fire, if I'm correct? But yeah, he's a player that we would have expected to have maybe shown up a bit more on Cobblestone. Let's see if he's going to be able to do so now on Cash, or EPSILON will be able to finish this one out 2-0. Should be a good game no matter what, and we will be looking to get into the action right now, as we can see the countdown has begun. We are just on 1 second before we should be getting live into this pistol round, and let's see what way that one's going to go.
Here we go. EPSILON get to start on the CT side. And here we will get underway. Zach's going to buy up the kit and the smoke. Crystal will buy up a smoke and a flash, as well as dropping the P250 for NATO Safix. I'm surprised that Speedy is willing to hold this angle back towards T-spawn. It's a very long-range engagement. The USP, sure, might get caught off guard, but the Glock will certainly take a few shots to kill at this range, even if you get the dink. So here we go. We're going to see EPSILON, for the time being, just hold back. No need for them to go aggressive, but they are playing very, very passively towards A, with only T-Sac, also Tac back towards truck. And in the meantime, Sprout just kind of probing early on, not really committing to anything. They were holding across the map, but Smooya might get a chance for the entry, and indeed he will get the first kill for EPSILON.
Yeah, good start for EPSILON as Dennis falls in middle. It looks like they were planning on trying to split towards the A bomb site, but that's going to be one avenue of attack now that's been shut down. Instead, Innocent coming from the door. The rest of the players just grouping up out of A main, and right now it is going to be actually a retake set up by EPSILON. They have the defuse kit. They're happy enough with allowing for the bomb site to be taken over, and then just working together to try and actually reclaim that. And with a kit and a smoke, that can be not really that complicated. You can put down the smoke. Usually it's quite hard to get them off the defuse, and with Robin finding that kill onto NATO, it's definitely going to be difficult now for Sprout to try and hold this one down. Let's see if they're going to be able to do it. The Glocks going to be trying to play up as close as possible as they can, and Spitty, he finds that opening kill, peeks out, gets a bit of damage connected, and Innocent able to step it up also. As coming in on the flank now, Cosmian is receiving a lot of damage, and this is getting awkward for EPSILON as Crystal finds another Innocent able to take down Robin, and now it's going to be all onto Zach, and he's not going to be able to get anything done. He will be denied, and Sprout able to hold off a 3-on-5 afterplant there perfectly. Play that to perfection, and it is going to be Sprout picking up this pistol round.
There we go. Sprout managed to get the job done quite convincingly as well. Innocent with the 3K, leading the way for the team. And into this second round, we will see EPSILON buy up. Smooya has the scout, so he can try and hold off towards mid, and that's currently where Sprout look to be pushing towards. No push coming in just yet. Ooh, that shot does land on towards Crystal through the wood. Only going to do a little bit of damage, but Robin, long range with the CZ, will also do damage and even get a frag. Crystal eventually gets the trade, but Smooya, still with the scout, gets the frag on towards Crystal. I think that chest shot was a kill because of the wallbang he landed earlier. And now EPSILON, surprisingly, get the man advantage.
Yeah, NATO will be able to upgrade his way towards that AK, able to retrieve that off the body of his fallen teammate. Still, EPSILON with a man advantage. Not such a bad start to this round by any means. It looks like Sprout will try and make their way over towards B. We're currently just going to be Sack, and I believe also has some support from Cosmian up in heaven. So let's see how this is going to go. Sprout, though, still have the weapon advantage. That is a positive. They have the 2 rifles. They have the 1 Mac-10 on Innocent, who currently is just going to be looking over towards middle, and he actually finds that kill there on the Smooya. So a good find. It shuts down that mid-hold for the CT side, and a splitting on towards B. Let's see what's going to be found by these CTs that are in position. Surreal not really going to be close enough to actually help them out. He will be rotating in finally, but it's up to his teammates to try and get a couple initial frags in his position. And Cosme, he's done a good job, gets the second even, as he shuts down Spiddy, and Innocent is going to be the last man standing, and Cosme looking likely to close it out as he picks up the hat-trick. And it is going to be EPSILON once again managing to upset with those pistols, very similar to what we've seen on Cobblestone.
Wow, that is a little bit disheartening for Sprout there. Especially as, to be honest, EPSILON took that round very, very convincingly. After winning the fights towards mid, Cosme getting those 2 kills made it fairly simple for EPSILON to close it out. Of course, it always looks simple when you win a round like that, and it certainly was difficult for EPSILON to land the shots, but they managed to do it. And now heading into the 3rd round, Sprout have a very weak buy, and Cosme boosted up over towards B. That's a boost that you don't see very often, but I feel like it's maybe a bit underused. Quite often you will be able to get a free frag, and in the meantime, Smooya is in towards Vents, rotating over. He spots the man, drops down the bomb, and as expected, Sprout getting picked apart as Smooya chimes in with a 3k now. Eventually he does fall, so that M4 is lost. Let's see if Sak can pick it up. No, he doesn't get there in time. So 1 M4 lost, but not a massive deal.
Yeah, they won't really be too bothered with that one. Able to withstand the pistols themselves now, chain a 2nd round on top of that previous one. And now Sprout are going to be looking at an eco. We see at least a couple of pistols being upgraded. Crystal going for a Deagle, Dennis going for a PT-50, but other than that, it's just going to be the Glocks, and I don't think EPSILON are going to really have too much trouble overcoming this one. Sprout, their main goal right now, get a couple of kills in the bomb plant if possible. Get the extra economy, drop some weapons from EPSILON and keep their economy modest, as it's not really going to start off so well. Smooya finds 1 Cosme and should have spotted that leg. It takes him perhaps a little bit longer to notice that player than I would have expected, but it doesn't matter in the end, he does get it. And Crystal at least chimes in with 1 with his Deeg that he invested into. Going to get himself a bit of money at least back from that investment. And now a 2-on-4 for Innocent and Crystal to see if they can maybe get 1 or 2 more kills out of this one.
Yeah, Crystal already has at least 1 kill with the Deeg and nearly gets the 2nd. A little bit of damage on towards Cosme, who decides to fall back. And that allows Robin to come through and catch them off guard. 3-1 lead for EPSILON. The buy should now come through for Sprout. NATO Suffix could get the AWP, but he would have to go with no Kevlar. He only had exactly 4,750, so he decides not to buy it, goes for the AK instead. That means that Sprout have pretty good utility for this round. However, they are up against the AWP of Smooya, so as they look to go somewhat towards mid, Smooya could certainly be able to pick them off if Sprout aren't careful. They should use their utility though, and I think Smooya might have to fall back if the push comes in, because the boosted players could get up close. In fact, Dennis is already in towards white box. So Smooya needs to be very, very careful now. Dennis is caught out. I thought he was going to be favored at that close range, but Smooya manages to react quickly, and now he falls back, giving his team the man advantage.
Yeah, nice job by Smooya. Dennis was the first player to fall for Sprout, as right now it's not looking good for the German side, as another kill is going to go in favor of Robin, and he even manages to shut down Crystal. Good job by the Swedish player, as it's just going to be Innocent and Spiddy now that remain to try and salvage this round for Sprout, and I don't know how likely that's looking. They will at least be able to retrieve the bomb. Looks like they may try and bring it over towards B, but neither site really right now is looking like a bit of a weakness. They have the 5 players alive, they have plenty of utility still to work with, including 3 Molotovs, lots of flashes, and also a smoke in the hands of Sak, as right now this is looking very unlikely for the Sprout side, and with how passive they're hanging back, they may even be just looking to try and save this one.
Yeah, Sak, though, with only the UMP, doesn't need to hold back. He's not really bothered if he loses that one. It's not a massive investment, so he's going to try and hunt them down alongside Robin, who's already pushed up close. Innocent will have to react quickly here, and he does spot the feet, does get the frag. However, Smooya finds the trade, so now it's just going to be Spiddy trying to hold on to his AK, and I believe he should have been spotted. He's already got 1 kill. There we go. They spray him down. And so EPSILON managed to extend their lead even further. And Sprout again are just going to be down to pistols. And to be honest, I think this is EPSILON really sort of showing us that if they hit their sort of skill ceiling, They are such a threatening team with the amount of talented players on this roster. Sprout just have not been able to handle it so far. Very often it's been Smooya getting the first kill with the AWP, and then ever since sort of Smooya gets that opening pick, the rest of the team closes it out quite easily, it seems, to be honest.
Yeah, EPSILON just once again looking like the better individual players on this map, and I suppose the better team also just having some nice aggression early on, just doing a great job so far on both of these maps of just finding those opening kills and ensuring that Sprout are just going to be on the back foot, left in just a bad position each round. They never really have time to try and set up what they want into each round. Their plans are kind of shut down before they actually get them put into action, and now it will be a pause coming in, of course. Sprout, they will be most likely just looking for an eco in this round as their economy isn't really looking very strong.
Yeah, remember, heading into the playoffs of this tournament, because this is the last game of the group stages. The playoffs are going to start tomorrow, and I don't think the winner of this this series would play tomorrow, but the winner of this series will be playing against Na'Vi, I believe. So if you think EPSILON aren't really going to be tested in this game, well, they certainly would be tested by Na'Vi, I am sure, especially as they've already lost to them once, I believe. So certainly still a lot to do for EPSILON if they want to get that spot at Katowice. But right now it's looking good for them to, at the very least, make it through to the playoffs, as long as they can continue with this level of performance. Either way, Sprout are going to be leaning over towards A with a fair few players, but they don't have too many nades. Like I said that, Surreal is the only player here. He's had to go passive as he gets the first kill. And they had to concede the bomb plant, but no, Surreal goes aggressive, and his teammates there don't help him out. NATO Safix is going to be a bit frustrated with that one. There were two players at quad that did not peek, and that means that Dennis now has it all to do. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. He attempts the bomb plant, but that is ambitious to say the least. Surreal hunts him down. EPSILON continue to take convincing round wins.
Yeah, just another good round by EPSILON. Sprout, of course, they didn't actually have the full investment into that previous round, so it's not really too big of a deal. They will now be getting that full buyout. NATO Safix gets himself the up. The rest of the players are going to have the rifles and also a decent amount of utility to work with, so let's see what they try to go for in this one. So far, they haven't really been having a lot of success on this T-set. A reminder, Sprout once again did win the pistol, and since then, EPSILON, they've just been able to successfully bring back 5 in a row. As it looks like they will try and go for this boost once again. Previously, it was Robin that went up. Will they do the same once again? It seems like Surreal instead will go up onto that position rather with the AK rather than that silenced M4. As right now Sprout just holding a passive default, waiting to see if they can catch any aggression off guard, and so far it's not really coming in from the EPSILON side. They've gone for instead the boost on the A-bomb site, not really looking to push forward, and they're letting Sprout this time, I guess, control the pace of the round.
Yeah, Smooya not going to go for the opening pick just yet. In the meantime, Innocent goes for the spam back. He spotted Robin going for the shots first, but he actually takes more damage than he manages to dish out. So it's Innocent down to 38 HP early on. Robin did take some damage, but certainly won out in that fight, and there goes Smooya yet again, getting that opening kill. I think he may have even done damage on towards Dennis there. I think it might have been a leg shot through the teammates, so it didn't quite kill him. But nonetheless, Smooya gets the first kill of the round, as he has so consistently. And Surreal on the boost spots out the feet of NATO Safix. He can't do anything with the AWP. With 28 seconds left now, Sprout might start to panic because they really don't have much time left to work with.
Yeah, there's just nothing working out for Sprout so far in this map, just as EPSILON have full control. They're going to try and at least make their way out into this A-bomb site, but look how little time remains, and Innocent, I don't even think he spotted that foot out above the door right there, so this is going to be the round now in favour of EPSILON. Sprout just looking to try and save. They may at least be able to do so. I don't know if EPSILON are going to hunt, but Smooya will actually. Doesn't hit that shot and just kind of throws away the up, so that's at least something for Sprout to find. I don't know if that'll be retrieved. It will eventually be by Spiddy. As into this round now, Sprout, if they want to buy again, they can scrape one out. Crystal will be able to get an AK. He could drop that over to NATO. NATO could maybe drop a Galil back in return, and then Spiddy should be able to swap the op with NATO Safix. So yeah, that'd be a pretty decent buy. And there you go, that is going to happen, and they're actually even going to get the AK out. No Galils at all.
Yeah, still a pretty good buy for Sprout, but they still need to get another round on the board at some point here. After winning the pistol round, they've had no success since, losing 6 rounds in a row. And I think it's shown how dominant EPSILON have been by the fact that Sack doesn't even have a kill yet, and they are 6-1 up. he's not had to do anything because the rest of the team have been showing up in a big way, especially Smooya up there at 11 kills. I mean, he has been playing aggressive, so you'd expect him to frag more. And oh, Surreal through the smoke gets another spray down. This time it's not Smooya opening up, it's his fellow UK teammate Surreal to get the first kill. And Sprout finally get the opening. It's Innocent to go in first. Surreal could still be in a very strong position here. The Incendiary goes in, but Dennis comes out on top in that duel. Now the bomb will go down, but it's back to a 3-on-3, and Cosmine pushes through for 2 kills. The bomb is planted somewhat open, but I'm not sure if NATO Sapphics will be able to spot if the defuse were to come through. Could get dicey now for Sprout.
Yeah, I think they may just be able to stick this. They'll be able to see that the little extensions for the defuse are indeed in place, so they know it's being stuck. But the fact that they're just both over an A main, they can't really move forward. They get the kills afterwards, but that doesn't really matter at this point. EPSILON, they have a lot of economy. They don't care about losing those couple of players, and they're able to get themselves a 7-1 lead. As now Sprout, every time they get close to winning a round, it just somehow doesn't go in their favour. And that time it was thanks to Cosmine, who just pushed forward and found those 2 kills on the players on the bomb site. And yeah, into this one now, Sprout, they're able to buy at least once again, but they need to start picking up some rounds. That's what they really need. Reminder, they lost the first map at his best of 3 series, and the scoreline of that was 16-8, and it's not really looking much better right now.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't mind seeing Sprout switch up the pace at this point. They've gone very, very slowly for quite a few rounds. Maybe going for a fast play would be a decent idea. Maybe even just testing the B site hold. We haven't really seen Sprout go over towards this B bomb site all that much so far, as is proven by the fact that Sack still yet to get a kill. He just hasn't spotted anyone out. There goes Smooya, getting that first pick over towards mid. I mean, Crystal again there, he just has the AK, so I'm surprised that he's facing so confidently. Spiddy, though, with this Molotov could get the trade. Cosmine forced out, the spray comes in, and it's actually the Flames to finish Cosmine off. So now Sack might get his chance to get the first kill for himself. There it is, drops down the bomb, and that allows him to call for the rotate, and you can see the rotation coming quite quickly, but Spiddy, speaking of quickly, gets 2 very fast kills. And now Sprout finally have the man advantage.
Yeah, it's going to be up to the UK duo to actually try and retake this round. Try and win it out in a 2-on-3. Surreal going to be wrapping around towards the vent, but he will actually be taken down by NATO Sapphics. So now it's all on to Smooya. He has 1 kill already into this round. Has to try and find the 1 versus 3 and up that to a quad kill if he wants to try and take this one. They have a decent amount of economy still available on the EPSILON side, but I don't know if it's really worth going for. If he can't get a fast opening kill, he may just decide to back off and save this up over into the following round. As Sprout, they should be now getting themselves up to 2 rounds, and they want to get it further. They want to try and remain alive with all these players. And I think Smooya right now is maybe even just looking to try and stop that. Try and get 1 more kill out of this. But he won't be able to. Spiddy takes him down. And Sprout get up to 2.
Finally, a gun round goes their way. Having said that, they're going to need a fair few more here on their T side. EPSILON, though, don't really have much money built up, so it's certainly still possible for Sprout, even though it had been very, very convincing for EPSILON up until this point. Not only have they been winning the rounds, but they've been winning them very, very easily. Now is the chance for Sprout to turn that all around, and Smooya in A main might just get caught out here. Crystal comes up close, and there we go. The opening kill comes in. That could prompt them to go for a fast A push, and you can already see Crystal has made his way out to forklift. Surreal is going to win that first fight. NATO Sapphics comes out with the Glock in hand. He is going to get that kill. Somewhat surprising he took that risk there, but it works out for him. Robin eventually gets a kill back. So back into a 3-on-3. Sprout finally having a bit of success getting onto the sites. The question is, can they close out the post point?
Yeah, they do have a slight HP advantage, and not really a lot of utility right now for EPSILON to work with. They have a smoke, they have a couple of flashes, but it's not really perfect. And Robin, you can see he's been so cautious of the flank. He's aware that there was originally a player in this position, but now Sprout have all 3 players ready on the site to try and hold this after plant down. As EPSILON, they're beginning to run out of time, and I don't think they really want anything to do with this one. If they save, they should be able to get a buyout in the following round. They're happy enough with conceding a third over to the Sprout side and focusing on the upcoming gun round, it seems.
Yeah, not an awful idea at this point. I don't know if Smooya will be able to get an AWP. That's something that's up for debate. I think Cosmine could drop it over to him. So that's what I'd expect to see for EPSILON, because they have been a little reliant on that AWP so far. for the most part, in the rounds they've won, Smooya has been getting a lot of the work done. Having said that, he's certainly a player that's very active across the board because he's also up there with 8 deaths. I mean, he has more deaths than quite a few of the Sprout players so far. So that just goes to show how aggressive he can be at times. A couple of nades go out towards B. Don't do a particularly large amount of damage. Actually, they don't connect whatsoever to start the round. Sprout are going to be holding back. Again, we haven't really seen them go towards B very often at all. They haven't even really had any presence towards B to start the rounds very often. This time, Spiddy will stick towards that position, just holding it off. And, well, Smooya there was just kind of standing out in the open towards mid. I mean, I know he likes to be aggressive, but that feels a little bit awkward. He does now get back to cover, so he can fall back quite quickly. And Sprout still not making any moves just yet, although they are waiting outside the A side of the map.
Yeah, and EPSILON actually playing quite passive at the moment. They have 2 players extremely passive on B. They just have one connected at Smooya, and then up on the A bomb side is going to be Robin and Surreal waiting to try and hold this one down. They have one Molotov, they have a couple of flashes. Sprout now are going to be making their move, and it's going to be the opening kill going in favour of Dennis. He drops Robin. Crystal looking to try and move onto the bomb site. He will be slowly delayed by those Molotovs, but as he goes through it, he will be able to catch Surreal off guard, who's been blinded perfectly, and Dennis gets another headshot. Smooya falls, and I think that's his round over and done with already. I don't think EPSILON want anything to do with this, as they will be looking to just try and save once again for, I believe, the 3rd round in a row now.
There we go. It is indeed the 3rd round win in a row for Sprout. And I think EPSILON at this point might be forced down to, well, at the very least, a bad sort of force buy, or more likely straight up eco with a few players upgrading. Cosmin holding off, does get that headshot. However, they will now know where he is, and Innocent dispatches of him. That means that Zach is just going to have to try to save the AWP, and it looks like he will be safe in doing so. However, the question is, what will the rest of the team invest into this round? I think they shouldn't really want to invest too much here. We get to see what happens with that as well, because Zach does have armor, but the rest of the team are, you know, potentially better AWPers. However, he is going to stick with it. Smooya buys up the Kevlar now. He is following Zach around. He wants that AWP. Waiting to see if Zach dies early on, I suppose. Zach not going to get anything done. Smooya's still looking for it, and he will get given it. So there we go. Eventually, the AWP gifted into his hands. Let's see if that was the correct decision, because right now Sprout already gaining ground towards A, and Innocent so quick on that transfer, gets 2 kills. He's hungry for more as he gets a 3rd, denying the AWP of Smooya anything in the round. Cosmin will recover it, but he won't have it for too much longer. He is also picked off, and Sack is back towards Truck. He might also go down. Dennis hunts him, and Sprout almost looking like a different team here. They look so much more confident now.
Yeah, it seems like they've definitely gotten to a bit of a roll now. They've gotten a couple rounds in a row, 4. It's looking much better as EPSILON up to 7 already. They're in a decent position already, but they would of course want to try and improve this even further, especially with the beginning that they did have being up 7-1. But they get the buy back out now. The only real negative thing about it is that Smooya doesn't have Kevlar, so he will be glass cannon, and that kind of limits the amount of aggression that he's able to go for. Of course, utility is going to do extra damage. He doesn't have the Kevlar to sponge any of that, and there we go. He gets the 1 at least. He will be traded up by Dennis, and Surreal, of course, still in position. He's going to be able to take down 1 at least, and Geeks Out may find another, and he has to support a Robin who drops Crystal. Spiddy is now going to be the last man standing over in checkers. May be able to find Cosmin, as he is with his back exposed, and he will be taken down. But still, 3 players remaining for EPSILON and full control of this bomb over on the A bomb site.
And not sure exactly what Spiddy can do from this position. Having said that, EPSILON are somewhat spread out. Robin over towards Squeaky, Surreal in towards Forklift, and Sack over towards Quad. They are kind of just holding their positions somewhat individually. Having said that, it's still so tough to get multiple kills in this position. We are going to see Spiddy come towards White Box, and he's slowly going to creep his way up Highway. I don't think Sack has spotted him out just yet, so maybe some sort of chance for Spiddy. But now it seems like they realise where he is, and there we go. Surreal going to get that final kill. Sprout, though, certainly still have money, but while we have this short little break, I'm going to give this opportunity to talk to you about the giveaway we have going right now here on eFrag. If you subscribe to the Twitch channel, you will be entered to win, or potentially win, a flip knife, a blue steel field tested. Very nice knife. So make sure to subscribe on Twitch if you want to be entered into that giveaway. And right now, back into the action because Smooya, again, trying to force the issue. This time around, Sprout managed to finish him off. It's NATO Sapix holding the angle to get the first, but Robin, through the smoke, will get the trade. So even though Smooya goes down, the AWP that he bought still does damage in the hands of Robin.
Yeah, nice find by Robin. They're just shooting directly at the tracers through the smoke. That's the problem when you're spamming with the AK. It gives away your position. As now a 4-on-4. Surreal pushed up quite aggressively towards A main. Could be a bit of trouble if you see someone coming in this direction, also with a player behind them in the door. You could maybe get sandwiched in, but it seems like right now Sprout are going to be just focusing on this B bomb site. And right now it's only Chacker to try and hold this. He gets one, takes down Crystal, and he's still just going to try and stay alive, playing around the smoke on the bomb site. And he will have some support now. Cosmian pushing immediately out from heaven, gets himself at least one, remains alive, and the trades now finally come in. NATO going to be able to drop the player on site. But still, a 2-on-3 in favour of the CT side, and Surreal on this flank may be able to take Innocent down. Seems like he was definitely cautious of that position, but Surreal just holding a bit of an off angle, will be able to win it out either way. And now NATO is the last man standing in a 1-on-3. Only 25 points of HP to try and get this one done, and it's not looking very likely right now, as he's just going to be holding back into the toxic room and waiting to see if any mistakes are made by EPSILON, which currently there is none, but he will finally try and get a move on. Has the AK, of course, and is going to begin to make his way in towards B, where Robin with the op is going to be able to take himself another. So good performance by Robin in that round. Picks up the op after Smooya gets taken down and manages to find himself a couple of kills.
Yeah, very nicely. And again, I mean, I know we keep saying that Smooya is playing aggressively, but it's honestly just ridiculous. He's one of the most aggressive players I've ever seen. He's got 12 deaths right now. He's literally got the most deaths in the game, even though Sprout have won way less rounds. So clearly he is trying to really force the fights. And, well, it's been working for EPSILON in terms of the round wins. He's also been getting a fair few kills, a fair few opening kills. So got to give him some credit. Either way, here we head back into the action. It is going to be Sprout with the buy into the last round of the half, as you would expect. They don't quite have the AWP on their side of things. Currently, Smooya is positioned over towards A. Looks like EPSILON are just going to hold across the map, and Sprout are going to do the same. Not too much action happening at the start of the round, and I think Sprout now might go for the mid presence. The smoke has come in. With Smooya not being here this time around, it might be a little easier to gain ground towards mid, especially as Cosmin is mollied out of the vents.
Yeah, Sprout desperately trying to pick up this final round in this first half if they want to actually make it a decent one. Want to deny EPSILON from getting up to double digits already, as right now they are going to be able to claim some mid control. We do see Dennis though, gets caught off guard. Smooya just remaining aggressive, able to find one, and Cosmian also taking down NATO Sapix. This is not the start of this round you would have wanted to have seen as a player on Sprout or one of their fans, and it just continues to get worse. Surreal going to be able to drop Innocent, who tries to make that play outdoor. They were desperate at that point to try and find a kill somewhere, to try and get some control, and it just didn't work out. So now it's only Crystal and Spitty that remain. 2-on-5. Get that first opening kill at least as Spitty drops one, and is going to continue to face the vent where he's able to take down Cosmian also. But Smooya, of course, is still alive with the AWP, and now Crystal is the last man standing, and Smooya, the confidence that is shown as he just drops out of vent and takes that final kill. And EPSILON reached their way up towards double digits in this first half.
Yeah, there we go again. EPSILON looking very, very good right now. I mean, again, considering Sprout won the pistol round, I know that EPSILON forced them straight back, but Sprout will probably be slightly disappointed they couldn't get more done. And here we go. Both teams slowly but surely going to ready up. We will get to head back into the action. Sprout probably going to need this pistol round, to be honest. And as I was saying, I was kind of surprised somewhat to see Sprout pick Cash here, because I don't really think that they're necessarily... It's an okay map for them, but I don't really necessarily think it's one of their best maps. I mean, generally, they seem to play it in best of ones as kind of that decider map from the few times they've played it in the past. And they've only even played it once in this year. That was in an ECS qualifier against Avengers, another team with a couple of UK players, but that's a mixed team at a much lower level. So yeah, I was kind of surprised to see Sprout be willing to pick Cash this early on. and it doesn't seem to have worked for them. I'm not sure where else they could have gone, to be fair, and maybe they're just trying this because they know EPSILON haven't played it, but it's certainly not seemed to work out for them nonetheless.
Yeah, certainly not. We saw 4 rounds at one point being chained together by Sprout, but other than that, they didn't really have any success. Of course, taking the pistol round and still only ending it with 5, it's just not really good enough. EPSILON were just on such a roll, especially early on, and they were able to take that control back also late in towards it for the final 3 rounds to take those. And going into this pistol, it's going to be extremely important for Sprout to pick up. If they don't, then they're not really going to have any room to work with to try and get the comeback, as EPSILON, a reminder, they did take that first map of this series, and right now it's looking good with a 10-5 scoreline going in towards this second pistol round. As let's see what both teams decide to invest into. Crystal, he gets the defuse kit along with a couple of flashes, and over on the T side, Robin is going to be the man who gets utility. The smoke and a Molotov will be available for EPSILON to try and use in this upcoming pistol round. As let's see where they decide to take it, at least with the players. And right now, it looks like they will be looking to go for a quick boost. We could see a split towards the B bomb site, I believe, as Robin, just outside of B, going to be looking to try and cross into the toxic room. We'll have a smoke and a Molotov for that bomb site, as right now Crystal just gets himself some info. Peeks in towards middle. He goes to try and face this aggressively with a pop flash. He's yet to get any kills, nor really any damage, as now it will be the EPSILON side just grouping up and hitting this B bomb site, and it's going to be a difficult hold for Sprout. But then again, they've rotated a lot of players into position. The smokes for now will be hindering their vision, but they look to try and run through. Smooya, let's see if he's going to be able to get this done. He finds one eventually, but they're traded back in favour of Sprout. Spiddy stuck in the open, but it doesn't matter. He's winning the fights anyway, and he may even be able to find another as he shuts down Robin. And now it's all onto Cosmin in a 1-on-3. Glock available, the bomb dropped in the open. That's going to be very difficult, as right now Sprout are just beginning to back off and play this a little bit more safe, making sure they can find the trade. Spiddy, he may be found, but still Cosmin, 2 more to try and take down. And Crystal from above, the step should have been heard. He should be aware that this player is above him. Doesn't matter though, Crystal is able to win that out. And Sprout, they win a very crucial pistol round.
Well, the pistol round, they did win in the first half as well. However, they lost against that force buy. So they need to make sure they don't suffer to a similar fate here, because EPSILON will certainly be buying up the pistols. Cosmin is keeping $1,000 in the bank, but everyone else has fully invested. And Sprout, I mean, you can see they do want to make sure they don't lose to the pistols this time around. They have gone for a fair few rifles. Except that Robin with the CZ is going to try and get up close over towards B. EPSILON, again, just spreading across the map. I think you're going to see this quite often from the EPSILON side, looking to try and work a pick. And there we go. Surreal does get the opening frag. Spiddy taken down first. They're not going to be able to recover the gun by any stretch, but it is the M4 dropped. And we're just going to see EPSILON now slow things down. And there goes Dennis recovering the M4.
Yeah, Sprout, even with losing that first player, hopefully for their own sake, it shouldn't be too big of a deal. We do see actually only 1 player on the A-bomb site itself currently. Innocent, he's on highway, so he is in a position to try and support. But this could get dangerous, as right now EPSILON, they are going to be grouping up to try and take over this A-bomb site, and a bit of presence also being shown on mid. We're going to have to see a lot being done by NATO Sapix in towards quad, and there we go. Surreal hits another great headshot. Cosmin drops NATO on the bomb site. And now it's looking scary, as the bomb will be planted. Weapons, or rather a weapon has been retrieved, as a UMP was picked up by Cosmin. I'm on a 2-man advantage for EPSILON. This is going to be a very difficult retake for Dennis and Crystal. Let's see if they're going to be able to get it done. They have the defuse kit. They have a bit of utility in terms of a smoke and a flash, but it's not going to be easy by any means. And Crystal having no luck, neither is Dennis, in finding these openings. And I think because of that, they are just going to back off and try and save these weapons. And Surreal looking to try and hunt them down, it seems. He was trying to get that. All he has is the deagle, of course. It's not really too big of a deal if he loses that. But I think they are just going to instead exit through a main, where Crystal, he hears the footsteps, and it's getting a bit scary there for him. But he will, hopefully for his own sake, be able to save this FAMAS. I don't think he's going to be hunted too really aggressively by the T side.
Yeah, somewhat surprisingly, EPSILON, even though they win the round, won't to save all that much. Only the 1 UMP. However, unfortunately for Sprout, the exact same thing has happened to them from the first half, where on the T side, they won the pistol, and then they lost against that second round buy. And, well, that's, again, really devastating for them. They've gone for the force here. They've only got really the 2 rifles to work with alongside the pistols. And EPSILON, even though they didn't get to save too much, do have the money for 4 AKs. So into this 18th round. Unfortunately for Sprout, this is a round they really almost have to win at this point. And they only have 2 rifles to do so. Dennis is out towards mid, but Surreal has got that first kill over towards B. Spitty gets one back, but Smooya tapping away, takes the head off of Dennis. So it is the man advantage for EPSILON. And look at Sprout, they are all in towards mid, completely giving up the bomb sites, and yet still that's not really going to work. Spitty does get to recover the M4, but not for too long. Smooya takes him down, and it's only NATO left.
Yeah, and EPSILON having a fairly easy time in this round. Oh, he has an M4 at least, but he has been spotted and he's trapped in a little corner. Somehow gets up on top of the tree position, but it is still going to be difficult for him to actually be able to fall away. And as you can see, Cosmian able to win that battle out just about, survives with 12 HP. And EPSILON in that round, they do keep 4 players alive. And now Sprout, they will be just facing an eco. All they have is the pistols to work with. And while we are just going to have an eco round coming out for Sprout, I just want to go ahead and tell everyone that there is going to be a giveaway on this upcoming Sunday. It will be just after the grand finals of this Farmskins Championship number 2, and it will be for a Flip Knife Blue Steel field tested, and all subscribers will of course be entered into that one. So if you want to get yourself a chance to try and grab a knife, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. But for now, EPSILON shouldn't really have any trouble being able to overrun this CT defense. Only pistols, mostly just the USPs, as Crystal is the only one to get a P250, and Spitty once again actually goes for the Zeus. He seems to like this weapon.
Yeah, he hasn't really been able to do anything with it so far. But we'll get to see if it works out for him this time. I mean, this has been really rough for Sprout, though. I think it feels like it's just one of those days for Sprout where nothing really goes your way. Even when you get a few rounds, even when you get the pistol, it just goes back in favor of EPSILON. And, I mean, sometimes you're just going to have a bad day. You're just going to have a poor performance. And Sprout, unfortunately, I mean, to be fair, they've come up against a very on-form EPSILON side, so can't take too much away from EPSILON. They've certainly showed up in a big way, and Sprout will still get the bye together. They will try to keep themselves in with a chance. Remember, the last spot at IEM Katowice is up for grabs for the winner of this overall tournament. So if Sprout want to get to IEM Katowice, they're going to have to turn this around sooner rather than later. Cosmi gets the first kill, but NATO is in position for the trade. And Smooya there, again pushing out by himself, gets caught off guard. Having said that, they have sold a bit of a fake over towards A, so the bomb now will come back towards B, where the only player here is Crystal for Sprout, and he's about to get mollied out of position.
Nice nade also goes in, but I don't think it's going to do too much damage. Well, the second from Surreal May, and the spam is going to be what finds the kill. Headshot comes in for Surreal, and the B-bomb site is going to be taken over by EPSILON. The bomb will be planted, and it's also in a good position here for B main to allow the players to try and play time, to try and run that down. And now a 3-on-3 retake for Sprout to try and overcome. Spitty has the defuse kit, but they only have one flash in terms of the utility, so let's see how they're going to use that to try and actually get in towards the bomb site. As it looks like 2 will be coming in from the CT spawn. NATO with the op, yet to begin to push. Throws in the flash, but it's not really going to be correct in terms of the time, and Surreal is going to be able to drop Spitty, and I think because of that, Sprout already looking to try and save once again. And with the current scoreline, this is not really looking so good for Sprout. It is going to be Surreal even denying Dennis to save, and I think they know NATO Suffix's position, and knowing that he has that AWP means that they may actually just try and hunt this one down aggressively, try and even pick that up for Smooya. It's going to be difficult now for NATO to stay alive. He gets himself one at least, but he may be traded out as he gets a second, and somehow he hasn't been taken down. Robin, he's not going to be able to get it, so NATO Suffix somehow saves the op.
It's the small wins that count at this point. NATO is going to take one of those small wins in terms of keeping the AWP for the upcoming rounds. You never know, that could make a difference. Ooh, did you see how Robin was lining up that smoke all the way back on towards the box at T-Spawn? That was quite cool to watch. And they're going to go for the mid play. I don't know exactly if the smokes have landed where they want them to. I think that was a T-smoke landing up on Boost. Seems a little bit strange, but nonetheless, Sprout don't have any presence out towards mid, except for NATO Suffix holding back from the A site looking in towards Highway. So EPSILON will be able to gain the ground they were looking for, and we'll get to see what they now choose to do with it.
Yeah, just being able to take this towards mid basically for free. Sprout not really going so aggressive. They don't have the perfect weaponry, instead just sitting back on the bomb sites, and early on the damage will be exchanged fairly evenly. Crystal able to connect one bullet onto Smooya, while the AK also returns a single. As now it is going to be the B-bomb site hit coming in. Spitty, he's in a great position, and he's actually putting up some great numbers. He's able to take down 2 quick kills, and Dennis chimes in. Spitty chimes in with another to claim that hat-trick for himself. It's all going to be on the Cosmian now. Left alone in a 1-on-3, and it's not going to be easy by any means, and Suffix shows you why. He's going to go ahead and shut that one down with the AWP, and Sprout get themselves up to 7, but still only working by half the scoreline of their opponents, who still have economy to buy into this one. So need to try and chain this together now, Sprout. They don't have a lot of room to work with, very similar to the previous map, and it's just going to be still a long road ahead.
And you got to remember, Sprout in this tournament did already beat EPSILON in the opening best of 3. So they've got to think to themselves, we are certainly capable of competing with this team. They've just got to focus on getting back into it. But the boost comes in, and Smooya gets that first kill. NATO didn't see it coming, and the nade also came through to deny the AWP from being picked up. That is just absolutely a perfect start for EPSILON. I don't know if that nade was planned, but if it was, fair play. The AWP is now recovered, but Surreal has already got the kill up towards B. Innocent finally gets that AWP into his hands and gets a frag with it. But as the B push comes in, Spiddy might just get caught. Indeed, he does. Surreal with a second headshot. And, well, EPSILON just, again, demolishing Sprout.
Yeah, just a reset coming in for Sprout this late into the game is the worst thing that could possibly happen. If they're about to lose this round, if they lose this round, which is looking really likely with the B bomb site being under the control of EPSILON, it's just going to be so horrible. They'll be scraping a bye together in the following round. They may be able to drop an M4 over. Innocent should be able to, as long as he's able to survive himself. But it's still going to be quite difficult. It's going to be 8 rounds in the difference. 8 rounds is what Sprout will need to pick up in a row to actually keep themselves alive, as EPSILON are just about to claim themselves serious point.
Well, EPSILON, as you said, are going to get up to map and series points. And remember, again, as I was saying, managed to beat them in the opening matchup of this very group. So I think this does show the improvement for EPSILON. They've managed to certainly be able to improve themselves quite dramatically throughout this tournament. And that's certainly something you'd expect from EPSILON. They're still a very, very fresh, very new lineup. And so got to give them credit. They've certainly shown that they have the potential to compete. And to be fair, I think they've still got a lot of improvement they could possibly get done. I mean, their T side, for example, is still fairly reliant on just spreading out into defaults and making individual plays. If they manage to get a few more executes into the mix, just have a few more options, then it feels like they could certainly do even more damage. So certainly a lot of potential for this EPSILON lineup, and they could even improve further. But for the time being, they don't need to improve it further to beat Sprout by the looks of things. Having said that, Crystal has got the first kill. He went very aggressive out towards B. That's a lot of ground game for Sprout. They're going to realize there's no presence from the terrorists out towards that B side of the map. So that should give them the information they need, because Crystal is just going to lock this angle down.
Yeah, EPSILON right now, looks like they will just try and group up over towards the A-bomb site. Probably the correct decision, considering the aggressive push right now from Crystal. He has a lot of control over towards B. Likely, if they did go back in this direction, even after trading out that kill, it would be difficult, because so much time will be allowed for the CT side to rotate into position. So it looks like EPSILON will try and commit to the A-bomb site, and that's actually a great start to it. Cosmin going to be able to find that opening headshot. Molotov going down towards Quad. And let's see if they have anything to try and clear out NBK, as it doesn't seem like they do. So there's a chance maybe for something to be found still. But Robin, he gets NATO. Sappic's going to be Dennis to only find one before falling. And it's looking extremely difficult now for Sprout, as they're down to only Crystal, who remains alive in a 1-on-3. He's left to try and clutch it, and he finds himself another kill at least. He will be up towards 2 in this round, but he needs to double that if he wants to actually be able to keep his team alive in this series and in this tournament, of course, as he is going to be dropped by Smooya. So in the end, EPSILON get themselves a 16-7 victory and claim themselves what I believe is a pretty easy 2-0. And let's see what the analyst desk thinks about that.
I would definitely agree, Dean. I think this was pretty easy 2-0 for EPSILON, and Smooya at the beginning of the game, I would say he was kind of smurfing there at 2-1, self-boosting on cash, getting easy echo kills. But
Surfing?
Smurfing.
Surfing. I know, but...
Get out. Yeah, I mean, the whole matchup between EPSILON and Sprout, you can see, like, even from this, from his point of view with AWP, he's full of confidence and he is not afraid to take fights, and that's what you need from your AWP player, right? To be And here's that self-boost we've talked about. Yeah, they were eco-frags, but again, nice play from him. Style points, if nothing else, for Smuja. And overall, really good play by EPSILON on that cache. I mean, we said that they have probably bigger firepower, and they proved that on their city side. And when it came to T side, Sprout actually didn't have an answer, right? So let's try and break it down. It was pretty one-sided, but a couple of rounds going Sprout's way. Danny, what do you think? What went wrong for Sprout this time around?
Well, obviously EPSILON is a much stronger team in terms of aim power, but still, Sprout had some really good rounds in post-plant game, defending that A site like it's a cream pie. I mean, those rounds were really good. NATO Suffix, again, really good with AWP, but that's pretty much it. I mean, in EPSILON, all players were good except for Zek. He had, I think, 5 kills and managed to die 9 or 10 rounds. So he wasn't like a burden for his team. You have four players in team that are having over 20 kills, so obviously it's an easy game for EPSILON.
Yeah, we can take a look at the bracket now to see how we currently stand, and here it is. So Space Soldiers versus Avantgarde will be first match tomorrow, then Mousesports versus Man's Not Hot. Navi will play EPSILON, and Big versus Ago Gaming. So